Hello! It has been more than a week that I have finalized my first PC build. This is the first time that I have built a PC in my life. I got no physical help. It was just YouTube tutorials and videos that helped me to figure out what happened. It worked flawlessly so far, no problems at all. Everybody was saying that you will make a mistake while you are building a PC. Even the pros do make mistakes sometimes because there are many complexities that is easy to overlook. And the mistake I did was I forgot to connect the data cable of the additional hard drive. So I connected only the power supply cable for the hard drive, but I forgot to connect it to the motherboard. Of course, this was not really a problem for me because I had an NVMe SSD already on the motherboard, and I wouldn't have needed that as HDD unless I was to back up my files. So after some digging, I also came up with the utilization of this RAID concept. So RAID was one of the concepts that I first heard about, I think one of our bachelor classes in one of our introduction to computer science type of lessons. They were talking about this RAID concept, redundant array of independent disks. At that time it was meaningless to me because I was not that into hardware or concepts. I didn't know much about what was going on, and I was a mechanical engineering student, not a computer science student. So that was not my primary focus, let's say, at the time. But then, as of today, I know that RAID is simply a backup solution for many of us. So network attached storage systems, so-called NAS systems, use that. And my take was I decided to use that RAID system on my PC as well. Of course, RAID itself is not a complete backup. You still need to back up your data elsewhere on different systems, on different even households, geography. But at the end of the day, you begin with RAID, because if one of the disks fail, at least the theory is that the second disk will save you with all your data. So for this purpose, the first HDD is already in the case. I have mounted it. Again, I forgot to connect it to the motherboard, which is not a problem so far. And I got an exact copy of that disk. So exactly the same make and model and size. I purchased one more of the same 3.5-inch HDD. Today we are going to mount this one, connect both of them to the motherboard this time, we'll not forget that. And then we are going to set RAID up from BIOS, I think so. Okay, so let's start today's build. This is a very fun activity for me. I like doing this. Having a PC is really feels different. It gives you the power, sometimes excessive power that you will not need. But yes, for a very long, all of my life I was a laptop user, and I noticed the first benefit when I'm preparing these videos for YouTube. So I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro, and when I try to edit and render those videos and upload to YouTube, this thing's a breeze. It was impossible with the laptop I had. And the laptop I had, it was not a bad one. It was a powerful one 3 years ago. Okay, let's unbox this HDD and then start mounting it inside the case. Then finally, let's set the RAID up from the software. First, let's start by turning off the computer. Shut down. All right, the computer is turned off. Let's open up the HDD. warranty, the box, and here's the box. Okay, 4 terabytes, Seagate Barracuda. It should be exactly the same disk with what I have here. Let me verify that. So that's it, nothing in the box. Let's open up the case. Turn the power off. Let's open the case up. U9-104-300. 2U9-104-300. Yep. Pretty good. This is the same hard drive. Good to go. Yes. Scissors somewhere. Okay. This is our hard drive. Is it visible? I hope so. Now we need to connect this to the tray inside the case. However, it might be a little problematic because I already have everything mounted up. Let's see. So this is the first data connection, and I need some more light. Okay, let's take the tray out first. Okay, this is the tray for the HDD. Now we are going to prepare this tray for the HDD, and we are going to mount that and reinstall that. Let's do it starting with the rubber mounts. Okay. There we go. So the first connection, rubber mount number 1, rubber mount number 2. All right, rubber mount. It looks like a mouse, huh? Rubber mount number 3 and rubber mount number 4. Oops, don't go. Okay, so all 4 rubber mounts are in, as you see. Now, using these 4 screws, we need to mount the HDD to the case. Let's do that. Okay. Yep. Just align the holes and just drive the screws. Yep. Cool, cool. And the last one. Okay. All 4 drives are in, and this is how our HDD looks now. There's a space between the bottom plate and the top, which is thanks to these two level setup design. I believe the 12 terabytes are much thicker, probably that's why. These can accommodate both. So yes, we are now ready. Now first, should I put this in or should I care about the connections first? I don't know. Let's put this in first, okay? Just get the cables out of your way. Drive it in. Yes. Done. Put the main screw back into place, and there we are. Let's give a gentle tightness. Yep, done. So the two hard disks are in now. Exactly the same size, specs, and everything. Yes, we are ready. Now the trick is, first I need to make the SATA connection, not the SATA. I think this is SATA, yes, but this is SATA power. So can I connect both with the same cable? No, this is shorter than expected. I should use a different power cable. This will be a little bit hard to cover. Okay, so the thing is, let me show you that. This is the current cable from the power supply. It has two endpoints, but this is not long enough for my two hard disk drives. So I need another cable for this purpose. Fortunately, with the power supply came this other cable, which has three endpoints, and I will change the existing cable to this cable. Okay, let's unplug the first cable and then plug in this cable. This will be hard because it's all the way in and I need to push my hands in, unplug the first one, and you know how that works. It's like working on your transmission. Yep. Wow. Oof, my hand a little bit stretched, but okay, so this is how different those two cables look. The first one is shorter and it has only two endpoints, which is short for my spread in between the hard disk drives, and the second one has three endpoints. One of them will be redundant in this case, but that's the only cable we have. Okay, now the trick is to plug this back to the power supply. Okay, cable plugged in. It's a little bit tricky, so you might wish that if you had done this before closing the case, but yeah, somehow it worked. Now let's mount these to the hard disk drives as power sources. One. Okay. Mounted. First one is mounted as well. So yes, mounting complete. Now it's time to complete the other test that we forgot while we were working on the case. Mounting the data connection cable, which is the SATA cable, right? Haha. Okay, so these two cables are slightly different in length, and although they are flat in the first end, on the second end they are different. One is perpendicular and the other is flat. So let's see. Okay, so how to strategize for this? I think for this purpose it's better if I first open up the front of the case so that we see what point is best to use the angled one, because we just have a single angled connection. Okay, the connection points are, should I take you there? I think so. Okay, so from the other side of the case, cable 1, cable 2. Yeah. Oh, nice sound there. Yes. Both are connected. Yes, I have to use the flat on that side. And the other on this side. Okay. Okay, let's close the case. That's done. Now I only need to do the setup part. Let's power it up and hope everything works, huh? Here's the screen. Go to Advanced SATA configuration. Advanced SATA configuration. Yep. And then set SATA mode to RAID. Okay. So NVMe RAID, no, because these are HDD. Smart self-test, I think it's enabled, okay. Then go to boot, CSM. Compatibility support module. It says launch CSM should be disabled. Okay, it's disabled. Save your changes and exit BIOS, but then re-enter BIOS. Okay. Save changes. Okay. Now we should re-enter BIOS. Keep hitting delete for this motherboard. By the way, please check my first 3 videos that include building the PC from beginning to the end with all the steps, all the struggles, all the confusion. Yeah, I have prepared a 3-part video for that. Okay, we are in the BIOS again. Now it says go to advanced. Okay. Advanced. And it says go to RAID expert to configuration utility, but I don't see that here. Oh, I see that it's at the very end of the list. Okay, go there, go to the menu, okay, and then creating a RAID set. By the way, I need RAID 1 because I have 2 hard disks and I want the data to be kept in both in a mirrored way. Duplicated, so if one fails the other one will save me, is the plan. So I should have RAID 1. I don't know if that's the setting that we are going to be doing here, but it says from the utility menu go to array management. Okay. Create array. So create array is grayed out. Okay, the first fail. Array management. But create array is grayed out. First fail. The user manual doesn't state that. Now is the time to go to YouTube to find out a good result. Okay, it says you need to delete an array first to create an array. Should I just go forward and delete array? Four terabytes. Check all, delete. Confirm. I hope it doesn't delete my other file. Okay, no arrays found. Now there's no array. Go back. Create array. Okay. Both of the hard disks were empty. Both were fresh out of the box. But I had to delete an array first so that the create array was visible. Okay. So if any physical disks are in legacy state, logical legacy arrays. Okay. Select RAID level. And let's go back to the user manual. This is the right time to go back to the user manual. Okay. When select RAID level item is selected, press enter to select the RAID level to create. RAID 1. So select physical disks. Okay. Select media type, HDD. Enabled. I think this is the right way to go, right? This says select media type both. Should it be both or HDD? Let's keep it HDD because HDD RAID is what we are doing here. Then select the physical disks that you want to include. We did. Then apply changes. HDD enabled. Apply changes. Okay. When the array size is selected, enter the RAID volume capacity. The default value indicates the maximum. Okay, I'm not touching anything in this case. Array size unit. Okay, don't touch it. Megabytes. Read cache policy. Read cache. No cache. I don't know. I think it should be as is. Write back cache. Then create array. Okay. Create array is done. I think that's all. Why is this disabled? I don't know. Okay, go back. Now Let's see if this is going to work or not. I'm also curious. It's always tricky. Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. They're not visible. They're probably not visible because I have not initiated those as disk drives. Windows always does this, right? Let's go to disk management. I'm not sure. They're not visible, I believe, because this is all existing drive. Go back to BIOS. Tricky, right? Nope, they're not visible. Here is a single clue I could find. The RAID controller. The drivers for this device are not installed. Okay, RAID drivers. I need to point out to the drives. Okay, browse and okay, perfect. Yes, go to your device manager, install RAID drivers from your, in this case it was AMD for me. Okay, now it shows AMD RAID bottom device, blah, blah, blah. Now, let's try disk management. Still doesn't show up, so let's restart. Let's go to the device manager and hope this time it works. So in the device manager, oops, other devices, unknown device. I did it the second time. Yes, this time it worked. Whew. Okay, if you're having problems, here's the trick. You need to go to your device manager, and in the device manager, you will probably see some errors or warnings. Go to those warnings, download the AMD RAID drivers, point out to those drivers and install those drivers into those warnings. And you need to do this twice, because when you download the AMD drivers, there's no executable in that AMD RAID drivers. The RAID drivers don't have executables. So you just have 3 folders, and folders have, what do they have? Let me tell you. The folders have RC bottom, RC CFG, RC RAID named 3 folders, and every folder has just inf, sys, and cat files, extensions, okay? This doesn't help you, so you need to go to the, Now the disk management shows my 4 terabytes. This was 4 plus 4, but half of it is gone because it will be used for redundancy purposes, for backup purposes. Yep. So you must initialize your disk. GPT or MBR, which one? I think GPT. I'm not sure. It was the default value. Let's go. Initializing hard disk. And that's it. Now I need to format that to NTFS because it still doesn't show up here. I select it and I right click it and I say new simple volume. Go. Don't touch anything. Next. Drive letter will be D because the original drive is C. Next. Format as NTFS, quick format. Go. Finish. Done. Woohoo. New volume right here. Let's rename it to RAID disk. Local disk, RAID disk. That's it. Okay, so let's summarize our steps. What have we done? Okay, 2 identical hard drives I have purchased. By the way, you can do this with 2 SSDs or even I believe 1 SSD plus HDD, but never mind. I went with 2 HDDs, identical size, identical make and model, so just for consistency. And then I have mounted those to my case, the hard disk drives. I have plugged them to the power unit, power supply unit, and then I have also plugged them to the motherboard. Connections are done in the case. Then I booted my computer. In the computer, my motherboard is ASUS B650E-F. So in the motherboard, I went to the BIOS of the motherboard, and in BIOS, I have selected Advanced RAID Management, Enable RAID. First, I had to delete array to create a new array, okay? Even if your hard disks are fresh out of the box, there still could be an array, which was my case. So first, don't be afraid, delete the array if your disks are new, okay? If you have existing data in the disks, do not delete the array because you might be breaking something, you might be losing data. I'm just speaking for new, fresh, out of the box disks, okay? Delete the arrays and then put it into Windows. Windows will not see your disks at first in this PC, my computer. No, it will not see the disks there. It will only see the disks in disk management first, because you have to reformat the disks because they don't have a data structure, okay? Windows needs to build a data structure on them. For this purpose, you need to go into disk management, and there you see it as unallocated space, and then you format the drive, in my case to NTFS file format, and then it's visible under this computer just besides your C drive, okay? But in the first case, my C drive was visible, D drive wasn't visible, not visible also in the disk management. So I was going into disk management and there was no unallocated space, nothing, okay? In BIOS, it was visible. Remember, we had set the RAID in BIOS. Physical disk drive 1, physical disk drive 2, they were visible, no problems. But in Windows, under disk management, it was not visible. So how did we solve the problem? We went to the device manager, okay? Device manager, not disk management. Device manager. Under device manager, there were some devices which had warnings on them, okay? Those were RAID drivers. So my chipset is AMD. I have an AMD processor. I went to motherboard's website and I downloaded the RAID drivers. The RAID driver folder does not have an executable file, so you cannot just run it and it does everything. No, it just has system files in it, not executable files. You cannot just simply run it. So what did I do? I have just unzipped the contents of the driver, and then I went to the device manager again. And under device manager, I have right-clicked those warning signs, those devices with warning signs, and I selected update driver. Update driver, it asks, do you want Windows to search for the driver? I said no, I will point out where the drivers are. I have pointed out to the folder and it automatically installed the drivers. Boom. This was the first time. So then no more errors, no more warnings, but I closed the device manager. I went to the disk management. It was still not visible. I restarted. It was still not visible. What I did the second time, so you need to do this 2 times. I went to the device manager again. Under device manager, there was another warning sign, the yellow warning sign. I right-clicked that unknown device. It says unknown device. I right-clicked that and I pointed to the exact same driver folder which we used in the first step. And this time it installed again. It said, okay, it's installed. That was another type of RAID driver. So it combined all RAID drivers under a category. And then I restarted and boom. Now my RAID driver was visible as a physical drive under disk management. Then it's simple. Just initialize the disk. Now format it as NTFS if you are using Windows. And then name your drive, local disk, D, E, name your drive letter. And that's it. Yeah, this was a little bit tricky. Not many resources on this one because I navigated back and forth, but nobody really said update your drivers this way. This was a little bit tricky, but I have intuitively figured out the way. I hope this helps you if you are having problems setting up your RAID drivers. So yeah, at this point, I have 2 hard disk drives backing up each other, RAID 1. Now, the next thing is to learn how to monitor if any of the hard disks is broken, right? Because if one is broken, you need to replace that before the second one breaks down so that you don't have data loss. Currently, I know nothing about it. The only thing I know is I have the C drive and I have the RAID drive as another drive. That was all I needed up until now. Okay, let's keep learning. Thanks. Bye.